Episode of the Everblack Podcast is brought to you by Deathwish, Hotrods and Kustoms. Check out their Instagram for all their new t-shirts, caps, beanies, cups, and the all-new Atomic Death lineup. How you going anyway?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Where are you? I can see a lot of green.
This is my bedroom.
That's cool.
Yeah, I was just talking to Tiana about it, actually. Our house is a rental and it's from like the 70s. It has not been renovated since the 70s. So there's some very questionable color schemes in the house, but luckily the bedroom is okay. They chose I feel like this shade of green's quite trendy now. So they were a bit ahead of their time.
It's very mint. It's like a mint
It
green.
is. Yes, yeah. It is. But the rest of the house, they did not do such a good job. So
that's why you just put band posters. You just put band
true.
posters. Old blunt mag posters, you know.
Oh, I wish. Back to the days of the 15-year-old bedroom where the walls are just covered.
Yeah.
Good days.
Yeah. Well, if I was in my usual studio, you'd see all my nerdy stuff. So
damn.
I know. Yeah. That's right. You got bookwork today.
Some binder folders and some other things. Yeah.
Yeah. And a greyhound who's a lazy greyhound. But yeah, awesome. Thank you for joining us on the show this time of the afternoon. Everything's crazy.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No worries. Well, I did see you recently came back from Europe touring with Tiny Moving Parts. That looked absolutely incredible. Incredible. I'll get there, I promise. Incredible. How's it getting back out into the big wide world?
Yeah, I mean it was amazing. That was our first tour back, like post COVID. And it was our first time in Europe, so it was really just like a phenomenal way to like kick off the album cycle. It was the best. It was such a good tour. Tiny Moving Parts were lovely and so accommodating. All the crowds were really receptive and warm, which obviously as a support band, like you don't always get. Especially being somewhere for the first time, like it was just mind-blowing to see that people knew our songs and came to see us and stuff. So yeah, it really couldn't have been any better.
That's like my dream. My dream is to tour Europe. You know, everyone talks about America and everything. I know you've been there, but like Europe is, especially for metal, is like where it's at and heavy music.
I honestly think, like, no shade to the US, absolutely loved our time there as well and will love to go back. But there was just something about Europe that really just like, it was just like magical. Everyone there is so generous, like the venues and the promoters, and even like we were just staying at random people's houses for the most part. And like you'd wake up in the morning and they'd be like, hey guys, like we just made you all coffee and we bought you all like croissants and like bread for the road, and like just so nice. Like it was, and just beautiful, obviously, like even just the architecture of the cities and like it was just the best. So I'm with you on that dream. It's my dream to go back again.
See, you're lucky here. If you go on tour, you crash on someone's couch. You don't get that kind of service. Usually,
no.
You got to go through Macca's on the way and get a crusty burger and
yeah, exactly. So like, it's definitely like Will and we have a lot of bands stay at our house. So I feel like now that the bands we've had stay since we've been back, we're like, let's really up our game, let's like make coffee for everyone, and like we'll try and make it like a Europe experience. So it's definitely inspired us to be better band hosts.
It's such a cool thing of being a band host. Who's the biggest sort of band you've had sort of stay with you?
I would say we've had like most of the ones we have stay are people we know, like Australian bands that are sort of in the same. Like we've had the last couple of times between you and me have come through Newcastle. Like they stay, like we're good pals with them and stuff. But I would say the biggest, it's kind of weird, but like Rollo Tomasi stayed
Oh,
once.
hey,
Yeah, they like played at this like DIY venue in town. They like played to like 10 people. It was so weird. And I just went just because I had nothing else to do. And then they came back and like just they like hung out in their van out the front because I think they didn't want to make noise in the house, even though we were like, it's fine. And then so that's kind of a weird one. But yeah.
that's huge though. That's cool.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is so cool, man. That's amazing. So, in regards to touring overseas in this post-apocalyptic world, how was that organizing to get over to Europe? I could imagine that being tricky.
It was actually like we were definitely kind of worried it was going to be a bit tricky, but it was actually very chill. They have relaxed a lot over there. So
Mm.
it was pretty much like we had to wear a mask on the plane, and then as soon as we stepped foot in Heathrow, it was like mask off, like COVID doesn't exist anymore.
So crazy.
So it was very chill. The only place that sort of had any COVID restrictions was Vienna, I think, and it was like only some shops you had to wear a mask in, but that was literally the extent of the restrictions. Like there was no like proof of vaccine or anything to go over there. Like obviously we're all vaccinated anyway,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
and we're totally prepared for all that, but there was none of that. It was super chill. It was honestly coming back to Australia that was almost more stressful because we had to do like the vaccine declaration so you didn't have to quarantine and stuff, because I think they might have just done away with that, but it was still a thing. So it was actually very chill, which was good for us because obviously the less things to go wrong, the better.
Yeah,
So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, that's awesome.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you recently released your new album, Can't Stay Forever, and everything I'm seeing, the reaction is just incredible, mate. How are you feeling that it's finally out there in the world after the last couple of years? Have you been keeping tabs on it? Like, is that something that you guys have been doing?
Yeah, we have. It's very, very exciting that it's out. Like obviously, the process of making a record in general, I guess, but like specifically for this record, like it's about 2 year process really, once you go back to like the start of the writing all the way through the recording and then the actual release. So it's like by the time it's actually out, it feels like, I don't know, just like this massive build up, and then all of a sudden it's out in the world and it's like, are people going to like it? You know what I mean? Like it's a bit anxiety inducing, but
Yes.
everything we've been seeing has been so positive, which is all you can ask for really. Like I think like I read the reviews and stuff like that because I'm like, well, I want to know what people think. But yeah, it's been for the most part like very overwhelmingly positive, which is awesome. And I think people have really like picked up on what we were going for, which was like we wanted a record that still sounded like us. Like we knew we weren't going to go in and make any radical changes and come out as like a totally different Eat Your Heart Out, but we just really wanted it to show growth and like maturity and like our songwriting and like our musicianship, and pretty much everything I've read has really picked up on that. So I'm super stoked on that, because that's really the only goal we had going in, was that we wanted it to be like a step forward. So yeah, it's very cool. I'm very happy.
Crushing it.
What was
Crushing
that?
it. Crushing it.
Oh,
Killing
crushing it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes,
Absolutely.
trying.
You are, mate. You are. You're doing very, very well. And mate, I mean, how many Aussie bands are going over to Europe right now? You know, there's
True.
some.
I mean, there is some, but it definitely is like there was definitely, I mean, I have moments like where I look back and I think like, wow, even if, it all ended tomorrow, it's not going to, but if it did, it was like, wow, we got to go to America, we got to go to Europe, like,
Yeah.
you know, tell like 15-year-old me that I'm actually going to do that. Like I would, I would have died. That was the dream. So it's like,
But you lived to do it.
I did. Yeah. Yeah. Somehow I died, but I lived to do it. But yeah, so it's like, there's still like such a ways to go, you know what I mean? Like there's so much more to do, but it's like
Yeah.
sometimes it is really beneficial, I think, to just take a step back and think like, wow, like we did that, you know?
Yeah, it's super important. Super important. And
Yeah.
I mean, the title could be interpreted a million different ways, but tied to the artwork and everything, it seems quite dark. Is that the meaning behind? Is that what you guys were going for? What's it mean to you?
It's kind of a double-edged sword to me. I think the more I reflect on it, the more I actually think it is more of a positive to me.
Mm.
Um, but it's just kind of like that idea that, you know, nothing is permanent essentially. Like nothing lasts forever. Like no situation, no relationship, like people, we don't last forever. It's like it can all change sort of at any moment. And like as much as our like the decisions we make have consequences and that is in our control. But it's like you can't control everything. Like there are going to be things that happen that just are outside your control. So it's like
Yeah.
it is kind of what we were just saying before. Like you, there are times where you just need to take a moment to appreciate like the moment that you're in at that time because it's like that moment won't last forever and it might not come around again. So it's just like that idea of nothing is permanent essentially. Like everything always shifts. So you just got to appreciate it while you have it. But there is the flip side, which is like, even if you're in a bad situation, it's also not going to last forever. So
Yeah.
it's like you can appreciate that it will also shift at some point. So yeah, it's I guess overall it kind of is a positive, but it does sound quite negative because it's like can't stay forever. Yeah, it's like I don't know. It does sound kind of dark, but I think the more I reflect on it, I think it really does mean something positive to me.
Yeah. No, it got me thinking. That's for sure. Like I was staring at the cover for a long time, going, "Man, what's it all mean?"
Well, I mean, I feel
So
like I'm
I love it.
still thinking about it. Like I still think about how its meaning is kind of shifting, even with like things that, you know, just happen in life, even since we chose the name and since the records come out, like I'm still thinking on it too. So I feel like it's kind of cool in that way that it's like still it's evolving even now. Like, yeah, which I think is cool.
What about the songs? Have the songs taken on different meanings now that you know, maybe jamming on them live or reflecting on them after recording them? Have you ever think
Yeah,
back? You know?
I feel like I was actually sort of thinking about this the other day. I feel like a lot of the time, like I'll like write some lyrics in a moment when I'm really feeling a certain type of way, and it's really relevant to that moment. But then, like even you know, a year later, I'll look back at the lyrics and be like, oh wow, like you know that really like evolved or like it's really applicable to like a situation that's come up since I even wrote that. Like so they definitely do kind of shift over time as well. Like even some of our older songs, like um I'll look back on the lyrics and be like, oh wow, that's actually become like I don't know if like retroactively is the right word or if, but you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
taking on a new meaning like in the future. Like it's yeah, it is cool in that way that how they kind of adapt over time and you sort of realize new meanings to them. So yeah, that definitely has already started to happen as
That's
life
awesome.
happens.
That's so awesome. I do. They're catchy as hell though. Like all those songs are like really, really catchy. I especially like 20 something. Like it's such a good tune. Like it's a tune. It's a real good one. Like I was
Yeah.
cranking it on the way to work and I was like, yeah, it's awesome. Like, I feel like there's a million songs out there, songs about being a teenager, but there's that period of time when you're in your 20s when it's struggle, man. You don't know where you're at.
Yes.
And I think you captured it. You've nailed it.
That's how I was feeling because thank you also by the way. I'm glad that you like them and find them catchy. Um that's kind of how I was feeling because I think even a bit subconsciously like I'd been listening to Olivia Rodrigo's record a lot. Like I think it came out maybe did it come out in 2020? I don't even remember. But I really liked that album. But I kept thinking like, I feel too old for this record. Like I'm not going through a high school breakup. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I appreciate it, but I'm like, I feel a bit old for this. So I feel like subconsciously maybe that like inspired me to be like, I need to make the anthem for the 20 somethings that are like, should I buy a house or have kids, or like should I keep spending all my money on like tattoos and like going overseas? You know what I mean? It's like everyone's doing something different at this age. Like there's such a wild variety. Some people seem like full blown adults, and some of us still act like kids. So it's like, where are you meant to be? You know what I mean? What am I meant to be doing?
Hey, I'm 40 and I'm still like trying to, I got
You
kids.
still feel it?
I'm still
Yeah.
like, doing the band thing. I'm still doing all the thing. And I don't know. Maybe I should write a song about being in my, don't want to do stuff and just sleep on the, stay asleep on the couch all weekend. But
Yeah.
it wouldn't be that exciting. It's not as exciting as your 20s.
I mean, a lot of people would probably relate though.
Yeah.
So maybe you should. Yeah.
Would you guessed on
Like
it?
I would in 20 years.
Yeah, true. Okay. But then I'll be 60, so it'll be just listen to this old man. Yeah, I think that's
yeah.
I'm just gonna leave.
We can make it. We can make it work somehow. No, you know what you have to do? You get me and then somebody else that's also like, say, 20 years old. Together will be like mid 40s, and that then together our combined experience will be mid 40s, and we can guest together.
I like that idea. Mathematics and middle age, like it works out.
Exactly.
No, I think I'm just gonna leave that up to you. I think you do way better than that. But do you have I don't know where I was going with that. Way off the rails. I think I'm running out of time here. But
that's okay.
yeah. So I mean, obviously, you've got a tour coming up early next year with your mates Tiny Moving Parts as well. That's going to be exciting. Reconnecting and going and kicking some ass.
Yeah. I think it kind of came up when we were in Europe that they were coming to Australia, and we were like, well, and so that ended up working out because we got along really well with those guys, like made very good friends with them. So yeah, so I really, I want to make it the Tiny Moving Parts Eat Your Heart Out World Tour.
Yeah. Cool.
I want to go like every continent with Tiny Moving Parts. But yeah, that will be exciting. That will be very fun. Couple of dates with them in the summer. It'll be nice. Yeah, good times ahead.
Have you got anything booked in before that?
We do. We have a couple of album dates which we haven't announced yet, but we will be pretty soon. It's a couple of headline shows in support of the record.
Come on, mate. It's your old mate Nev.
Yeah, you're right. It's my old mate Nev.
Nev, you can just. Tiana always hears me say that line. That's it.
Yeah, I'll just tell you because they'll come out anyway. They're gonna be like late October.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah. So we're hopefully gonna get them announced like really soon. Play a couple shows, play songs off the record. Yeah. Should be good.
Is Queensland in there somewheres?
It is.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. Is that where you're based?
Yeah, I'm on the Gold Coast.
Mad. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. We'll be coming up north.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, see, that's it. I won't get you in trouble. I won't dig anymore. That's what I do. I know.
It's all right. It's not that secretive. I don't think it's like no one's going to be out here like leak the tour dates.
Yeah, that guy blacklisted forever. No, but hey, no, it's exciting though, and I'm excited for you. I mean, you're doing so well, and everyone's loving the new album. It's exciting time. So what else you got cooking up apart from the sneaky shows? what's 2023, as weird as that sounds, saying that and
Does
beyond?
sound weird.
Mm.
Well, I think we definitely like to make our way back overseas again as soon as possible. Both hopefully Europe and the US. So that's definitely cooking, working away at that. And then probably start writing some new songs.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it is, because we're definitely not leaving a 3-year gap again this time between records. That was not intentional, just the way it happened, but we're not doing that again.
No, have you got some on the in the burner? Got some ready to roll?
Um, nothing too solid
No?
yet. We really need to get a move on with it, but it feels silly because it's like the album came out like 5 days ago, but it's literally like as soon as it's out, you're like, I gotta go. So yeah, I think we're sort of about to commence. We've had discussions about it. We just haven't actually like jammed anything out or sat down to really get anything cooking yet. But it's in the works. But definitely touring is the big priority. Getting the songs out on the live stage. That's definitely, I think, our main priority, because the ones we've played live so far, they are very fun to play live. They translate really well, which is always what you want. So yeah, just keen to do heaps more of that and get them out there.
Can you do me a favor though? On your way through
Yeah.
to Europe, just pick me up and just shove me into the suitcase.
Yes.
And I'll come and I'll do merch and bring beers and stuff like that.
Perfect. Yeah, 100%. We'll be like quick detour by Gold Coast Airport, pick up Nev, straight on to London.
Nev. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Mate. The dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's happening. Yeah.
Oh, cool. That would be so funny if he actually did. Yeah. I'll tell my wife. But
yeah.
Thanks so much for hanging out on the show. We'll have all the links down here. The new album is called let me start that again. New album is called Can't Stay Forever. It's Friday afternoon. No, it's not. What day is it?
Wednesday.
It's Wednesday.
Yeah,
see, that's exactly right. He's been working me too hard. But it's the dog's fault. But can you see the dog? You can see some legs.
Oh, I see his legs.
Little legs. That's
long
Tootie.
Legs.
Tootie the ground. But anyway, thank you so much for hanging out, and we will see you very soon, hopefully on the Gold Coast or Brisbane.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a lovely chat, and we will absolutely be seeing you in Brisbane very soon.
That's a sneaky hint. You heard it there. People. All right, mate. Enjoy the rest of your night or day or whatever it is down there.
Thank you. You too. Enjoy your Wednesday evening.
I know. Thanks for the reminder. Hey, yeah, it's jam night.